Let's say that some person came across some video, and in it there is your explanation of some sort, very interesting, it lit him up, he got inspired, internally agreed with you, and then he went on with his life. So, and the time has passed, things are forgotten, and as a result, the person, although bumped into it, but there is one thing here I want to ask. What does remain in a person after that? And is it enough to have such a flimsy contact? Or so that a person would soak in it completely, he needs to be put on the system so that he would be continuously washed with this information? Absolutely. Hands down, a person needs to a constant charge. Not only charge. The fact that a spiritual connection is a net, which binds everybody together. Thus, if he somehow hooked to that net, he must keep hold of it and widen this binding. It won't work out. It won't work to simply leave somewhere and work alone. It's impossible. It won't help. He certainly must be among those that he feels attraction to. Not egoistical attraction, but in which he understands that he can realize spiritually himself. So it's not some kind of ordinary science. Here we are talking about entering the system of connections with others, and in it reveal the higher force which fills up the system. If a person does not connect to the system, then he's nothing. He's nobody. Detached from the system, he only senses our world. By binding to the system, he starts sensing the life called the upper world. So, being alone, not acceptable. That you can say about a person that has preconditions for that. But there are people that are you call 99% people that are external to Kabbalah. So he gets bumped to the material, and oh wow. So he had an acquaintance with it in his life, then he continues with his life. So he lives, nothing happened. Nothing happened to him. Nothing. Of course, it somehow subconsciously affects him, but certainly nothing in particular does it to him. Practically, is he moving toward uniting with others, even on a simple earthly level? Did it motivate him or not? Still, the main thing is uniting. Being smart, acquiring knowledge, considering himself smart, great, all that don't matter. There should be a concrete realization, and it can be only in connecting with others. On the level of ordinary people, which is also very important, but on the level of ordinary people, meaning that he does it to bind all of humanity together. It's very important work. Or he works on the level of Kabbalists. There is nothing else besides that. If he simply came and left, well, there is nothing in it. He'll come back soon. When soon? Well, in a few years, maybe in 100, 150. Here you're aiming toward expanding this wisdom as wide as possible. This wisdom is of connection of all of the humanity into one system called Adam. That's the whole of wisdom. But there's a category that is inclined toward it, 1%, and those that aren't, but they are sort of sympathize with it. They sympathize because otherwise they suffer. There are people that suffer from being not included in this image of Adam, those that have so-called point in the heart. they have striving toward it, toward this image, toward connection. It can be very, very distant, completely unperceived, totally in the wrong direction. I myself was driven not by attainment, not by possession of this higher methodology, not by any of that. And as a result, I arrived to the conclusion that there must be love for your neighbor, uniting. It is, in fact, so opposite to my nature to deal with all this, pardon, sniveling. For me, it was all, if I was told so from the beginning, I was hearing about it, but there's something accompanying. Yeah, sounds cute. So that's all right. Everybody says those things. We grew up in the society where we were told many of such pretty words, but actions didn't match. You see. And as a result, when I reveal this system, I find it is necessary to unite with others, to bind with them, completely annul yourself, be included along with them together in one unit, in one mutual inclusion of all into each, to the state of the world of infinity, which means infinite with no boundaries, inclusion one to another. That's what the world of infinity means. And then in it, I sense a specific force of unity, which I call higher light, or the Creator. And if I all of a sudden discover this thing, for me it was on one hand something very unpleasant. I rejected it. It didn't stick on me for a very long time. But then I accepted. Where can you escape from it if it's a nature? That's how it's designed. Okay, act up. Say like a child that you don't want it. And at the end, life took over, as we say it. I was very opposite to it. Me and others, I'm a lonesome wolf by my nature. Did you see the room where I sit? I can stay in it my entire life. Willingly. Willingly, absolutely. I can live without seeing others all my life. Books and laptop is all I need. And all of a sudden, there is a necessity to go out, talk to people. For me, every time I must go something, it's till this day I do it unwillingly, but because it's necessary. I don't need students. Nature remains nature. I do it of necessity. I don't need nobody. I don't want any fame, power. I don't need any of that. I'm being sincere. You see how I am. I don't want it. Not because I'm so great, but because I'm built that way. And here I discover that apparently everything is realized in uniting with others. Wow. It's just an incredible turning point. I had to break myself very hard, slowly. Somehow it happened, painfully. I'm sure everyone will go through it. For sure. If you see that's the truth, that's the nature, then you finally realize that you are opposite to it. Indeed, you are an egoist. And that's the help against you that doesn't want it. Everything falls into its place. But you were saying this in regards to an inclined person or about everyone. I think that everyone has all of that, some less, some more. No one wants to unite, connect, bind, hug, join, annul himself, suppress his egoism. Who needs all that? surely. But gradually, people will be doing all that. One will begin doing it out of realization that what brought me to it. It's simply by reading, simply by reading, watching, sensing, enlightenment, and then simply attainment. And for the rest, not from this part from which I am, they'll be forced by life itself, better life. We all need to live, right? Willingly or not, you'll have to unite. By hook or by crook, that's if you're pushed from behind. But here, by studying, striving toward understanding, toward the truth, if you come to see that it is so, then it starts to change you. That's attraction frontwards, not by the blows from behind, but by attraction frontwards. These are two groups of people that one way or the other will come to the final destination. All of the humanity is divided into these two categories. Those that strive toward, those are scarce, thousands in the world, and the rest are those that are pushed from behind. Every time you point out that either we need to pass on this information with a book so that he would have it in him, so he would read it and he would have that piece of information in him. So okay, let's say he reads it, but he's in the category of those that are pushed from behind. Yes. So what's the point of all this? If he opened the book and then closed it, and still his path is known, or he's still somehow included. If he entered into a contact with me, if he came to the point that he got the book, or moreover bought the book, even if it's going to be standing on his shelf, even if once in a while he will remember something, that's already plenty. He's already bound to the system. He's in the net, and he's already evolving one way or the other. Subconsciously, somehow it's happening in him. Already he's closer to the correction than others. So that's where I began with. If a person heard about it once, is it already beneficial because he's connected with the systems? Yes. So in any case, this information that he receives through emails, through clips, how does it work in him from that point? We're all connected together in one system by a single net of forces. But he's connected to this net of forces through this little tube, and it's sort of opened. There is some flow of information going through it. Internal of higher grade, and he's tuned to it already, subconsciously, but gradually that changes. He's on blood infusion supply.